you definitely have unique perspective, being, working very closely with the real estate investors and showing
Yes.
them how to make really, really nice returns using very unique strategies that
Yeah.
I see the strategy that I see other people comment on it, like TikTok, for instance. And then I'll just go straight to the chat because the chat's all like, you can't do that. There's no way. That's not legal, blah, blah. But I was like,
Yeah.
actually, it is. It's just called this. Most people don't know about it. Can you share a little bit about what this strategy is and how folks are using it to beat inflation?
Absolutely. So listen, I work with almost exclusively real estate investors, and they're a unique group of people because they generally want to control their money, right? If you're not involved in real estate, generally what's happening is that you're wanting somebody else to manage all of your money for you. And if you're involved in real estate, you're generally wanting to be a part of something that you're doing your own due diligence on and research on. So the big thing that I do is provide a place for money to sit while you're waiting on a deal to come along that is not just sitting there losing money to inflation. So the place that it is inside of a specially designed life insurance policy, and it is growing every year and compounding due to the fact that it's getting a dividend. And it's a great place for real estate investors specifically to leave money on the sideline waiting for that next great opportunity that they have versus a traditional bank. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it definitely does. When it comes to being, so you heard the last guest, he was talking about cash is king.
Yeah.
On the other side of the coin, there's inflation just, eroding cash too. So
Yes.
you definitely want it available for good opportunities, but you want to retain the buying power. So, you show investors how to essentially have your cake and eat it too, right?
Yes. So the underlying principle that I'm teaching, it's not complicated, but the best way to describe it is interest rate arbitrage. That's what I'm really teaching people. So what you're doing is you're basically creating an asset that you can collateralize and utilize that with a lower interest rate than you're putting in your investment. So if you were, for example, paying 5% to a place for the use of capital, and you were earning 10%, your rate of return just went to 100% when you look at the numbers on how it works. Whereas if you just took your own capital that was sitting in a bank account and invested it into a deal, let's say $100,000 in, then you earned a 10% return. That is the maximum amount you would get, is the 10%. But if you have your place growing and compounding over here, and you're just paying a small percentage to use it and earning a larger percentage, then you can really dramatically increase your returns. And once the real estate investing community gets their head around this, they generally try to get as much money through this as they can to maximize their long-term returns.
And what do you call that strategy again?
So it's interest rate arbitrage, right? We're arbitraging interest rates. Just, this is what banks do exactly to make their money. So banks do not sit there and make money by paying a piddly little amount of interest when you deposit money. So if you deposited $100,000 with a bank and they paid you 0.25% interest, right? That is a terrible return. And banks don't make money by paying you 0.25% interest. They make money when somebody takes a loan from them and they're earning a higher return than they're paying you in interest. And they're just making the spread. They're arbitraging that money. So
yeah. And they're also using fractional lending to I guess 10x that. But yeah,
they are doing that, Chris. But that's a whole nother conversation that most people, like, their head starts to blow off.
But yeah, they're paying you the 0.25% while they can go out and earn, 4%, 3% on a car loan, or 6, 7, 8% on real estate or business loans, and
yes,
a whole host of other types of loans. Okay.
So if they were paying 0.25% to you and charging 5.25%. I talk to people all the time and they say, oh yeah, the bank must be making 5% rate of return. No, that's not it. They're on $100,000, 0.25% to you is $250. and they're bringing in $5,250. Does that make sense, Chris? And
Yeah.
that's without fractional reserve lending. That's a 2,000% rate of return the bank is actually getting.